Hi, folks. It's Gary here, and it's the morning after the day before. Yes, again, here on the fourth official. We're here following yet another shocking performance from Rangers at Ibrox yesterday. 2-0 defeat to St Mirren in the Scottish Premiership, failing to take advantage of Celtic's earlier defeat at Easter Road. And for the first time since 1983, St Mirren do the double over Rangers. And for the first time since 1991, they get a league win at Ibrox. Yet another unwelcome record for Philippe Clement and this Rangers side to add to their notches of unspectacular results so far this season. It's been yet another shambles. And in the wake of Patrick Stewart's comments during the week, which very much suggested that Philippe Clement was still being given time, given the fact that we have a match against Fenerbahce to look forward to in the Europa League. But after yesterday's performance, the fans at Ibrox very much have had enough, and changes need to happen now. It's something that just isn't going to be good enough. We've got 11 league games still to go this season, and for Patrick Stewart to state that Philippe Clement has earned the opportunity to have that crack at Fenerbahce in the Europa League, as it stands, his last two league games at Ibrox have been defeat to Queen's Park embarrassingly in the Scottish Cup, first time ever in Rangers history that they've gone out to the Cup at home to a lower league club. Followed that up with a home defeat against St Mirren for the first time since 1991 in the league, and it was another toothless performance. Real lack of goal scoring threat in the game. Hamza Igaman having a red card overturned by Kevin Clancy early in the first half, and that just completely took him out of the game to the point where he was replaced kind of halfway through the second half by returning Danilo back from injury. But between Danilo, Dessers, Igaman, Cherny, Hadji, so little threat coming from the Rangers front line yesterday. The St Mirren goalkeeper Hemming, apart from one save from Diamandi early in the first half, which the flag was up for offside anyway, hasn't had probably an easier day's work so far this season, and something needs to be done about it. Adding to the fact of the lack of threat coming from Rangers at the front, Clinton Inshallah had a bit of a nightmare yesterday. Mikel Mandron and then substitute Tolosi Olasanya having a bit more muscle, a bit more guile about them to latch on to just a simple ball over the top of a Rangers defence, which was caught static, and two rather simple finishes from Mandron and from Olasanya, giving Jack Butland no chance for either of them to repeat the heroics that he had at Tynecastle last week. And it was a shaky day all round for the Rangers goalkeeper. Very loose with his passing from the back, and just a complete lethargy about the whole Rangers performance yesterday. No pace, no real guile, no real trying to get in between the lines. It was just a very insipid performance, and it led to a great deal of the Ibrox crowd leaving early, and the swatches of empty seats that could be seen during the last kind of 15 minutes of the game. Speaking volumes, I think, in terms of where our Rangers support are at the moment with this current regime and current playing team, because yesterday just wasn't good, on top of what hasn't been good enough at all domestically, really, all season. Fair play to Stephen Robinson and St Mirren. They came organised with a game plan. They looked up for it. They looked as if they knew how to combat Rangers' style, which all season has looked to be based on individuals rather than having a kind of team collective. And yesterday, those individuals just weren't firing. It just didn't happen at all for Václav Cherny, didn't happen at all for Yanis Hadji. That there was nothing up top at all, nothing sticking with Cyril Dessers, and Hamza Igaman yet again looking out of really sync, playing in a number 10 position, which really doesn't look familiar to him. And Granted, Danilo being back fit is a bit of an advantage for Rangers, but we've seen nothing from the Eagleman Dessers partnership that suggests that that's the way forward to win games in Scottish football. Next up, it's a trip to Rugby Park on Wednesday night, another stadium that Rangers have struggled at so far under Philippe Clement's time. Away games haven't been his friend, and added to that with two home defeats on the spin now, he very much has the impression of being dead man walking. Patrick Stewart may well have gone into this weekend thinking that he was going to give Philippe Clement the opportunity to take us into the Fenerbahce games and the next Old Firm game at Parkhead. But after yet another embarrassment yesterday, I don't see how Philippe Clement can even see Wednesday, let alone get into the games in March with any real sort of credibility about him. In his post match press conference, he cast a downbeat figure. Stating when he was asked the question is, do you understand why the Rangers support have given up on you? And he stated that's up for the board to make that decision. So almost kind of calling the board out to make a decision and give him the payoff that he would be due if Rangers were to make a choice to relieve him of his duties between now and the end of the season. We all know that it's coming. It's highly, highly, highly unlikely that Philippe Clement goes into next season as Rangers manager. Certainly with all the new regime and the talk of the San Francisco 49ers consortium very much looking as if a deal's going to be done over the course of the coming weeks. But that decision needs to be done now. Whether there's an appetite from the board, the current board, to do something about it or not, they have to. Because otherwise, this season is just going to continue to meander away. And when you've got emails going out on Friday inviting the Rangers support to pay £46 a ticket for Fenerbahce in a few weeks' time, the only way you're going to get a sellout for that game is by having some regime change at the top and in the dugout, whether it's putting someone in charge interimly until the end of the season, someone like a Kevin Thompson or a Stephen Davis. But something needs to be done. There needs to be a fresh voice in that dressing room because at the moment, those players are not listening to Philippe Clement and they're not responding to whatever's coming out. Full match coverage of yesterday's game with St Mirren to follow over on our Patreon channel. You can find us www.patreon.com/the fourth official, and you can join us for less than £3 a month. Big thank you to you all for watching. I'll speak to you next time. Goodbye.